Hello everyone. Welcome back to this channel. Today, we are going to slow down for a moment, because sometimes, the most powerful moments are not the loudest ones. Sometimes, they come in just a few words. A short answer. A quiet smile. A moment that lasts only a few seconds. And yet, somehow, fans remember it. They replay it. They analyze it. And eventually, they begin asking the question. Was there something more behind those words? This time, the words came from Zhang Linghe. And the person standing at the center of the conversation was Tian Xiwei. When Zhang Linghe was asked about the reaction from fans toward their pairing, his response was surprisingly simple. In English. As long as everyone is happy. That was it. Just a few words. No dramatic confession. No direct statement about romance. No obvious declaration. Just. But somehow, that simple sentence became the beginning of another experiment inside the fandom. Because fans began wondering. Why did he answer that way? Was it simply a professional response? Was Zhang Linghe trying to keep the atmosphere positive? Or was there something emotional hidden inside that calm answer? And that is where our story begins. Not with a confession. Not with a confirmed relationship. But with a sentence. And the thousands of questions that followed it. At first, the answer seems almost impossible to interpret. After all, celebrities are constantly asked about their co-stars. They are asked about chemistry. They are asked about fan reactions. They are asked about popular pairings. And often, the safest response is simply to smile, acknowledge the support, and move forward. So perhaps Zhang Linghe was doing exactly that. Perhaps was simply his way of saying, if the audience is enjoying it, then that's a good thing. Simple. Professional. Polite. Nothing more. But then fans started looking at the situation from another angle. Because there is a difference between rejecting something and simply allowing the conversation to exist. Zhang Linghe did not respond with anger. He did not appear to shut down the discussion. Instead, he chose a remarkably gentle sentence. As long as everyone is happy. And for some fans, that sounded warm. Almost unexpectedly warm. Not necessarily romantic. But warm. And sometimes, that small distinction is enough to send an entire fandom into analysis mode. Fans began asking themselves, what exactly did he mean? Was he talking about the drama? The characters? The chemistry? The fans? Or simply the happiness that comes from seeing people enjoy their work? There is no single answer. And that uncertainty is precisely what makes the moment so fascinating. Because when a celebrity gives a very direct statement, there is usually very little room for interpretation. But when the answer is short, soft, and open-ended, fans begin filling in the silence. And suddenly, the silence becomes part of the story. Now, let's begin the first part of our experiment. Look at the words themselves. As long as everyone is happy. Imagine hearing that sentence without knowing anything else. Would you immediately interpret it as romantic? Probably not. In fact, the most reasonable interpretation is that Zhang was acknowledging the enthusiasm of the audience. But now add the context. Add Tian Xiwei. Add their on-screen chemistry. Add the conversations that fans have had about them. Add the interviews. Add the behind-the-scenes moments. And suddenly, the same sentence feels different. Not because the words changed, but because the context changed. That is how fandom works. One small moment becomes connected to another. One sentence reminds people of another interview. One expression becomes connected to another interaction. And eventually, fans begin seeing a larger picture. But here comes the most important question. Are they actually discovering a hidden pattern? Or are they creating one? That is the heart of this experiment. Because there is another side to the story. Tian Xiwei also responded positively to the support surrounding their pairing. And naturally, fans noticed that too. When both actors respond positively to audience enthusiasm, it can create a very comfortable atmosphere around their collaboration. It can make fans feel that their chemistry is being appreciated rather than rejected. And that alone can become incredibly powerful. But we have to pause here. Because there is a very important line. Being comfortable with fans enjoying your chemistry is not the same thing as confirming a romantic relationship. Those are two completely different things. And this distinction matters. A drama pairing can be powerful. Two actors can have incredible chemistry. Fans can genuinely feel emotionally connected to their story. The actors can appreciate that support. And still, none of that automatically tells us what happens in their private lives. So perhaps the most interesting part of this story is not whether Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei are secretly together. We don't need to turn a question into a conclusion. Instead, we can simply ask why this particular moment affected fans so strongly. Why did a sentence as ordinary as become something people wanted to replay? Maybe because fans were already emotionally invested. Maybe because the pairing had already created strong memories. Maybe because Zhang's calm delivery made the words feel more personal than expected. Or maybe fans simply wanted to believe that there was something beautiful hidden between the lines. And this is where the second part of our experiment begins. Imagine we remove everything else. No edits. No romantic music. No slow motion. No fan comments. No dramatic captions. Just Zhang Linghe answering the question. Would the moment still feel emotional? Maybe. Maybe not. Now add the reaction of fans. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes. Someone says, "Did you hear the way he answered?" Another fan says, "He could have said something else." Another asks, "Why does that answer feel so gentle?" And another person responds, "Maybe we're reading too much into it." And suddenly, the fandom is divided. Some fans see warmth. Others see professionalism. Some see chemistry. Others see nothing unusual at all. And perhaps everyone is looking at the same sentence, but seeing something completely different. That is what makes this experiment so interesting. Because sometimes fandom does not need a confirmed confession to create a powerful story. Sometimes, all it needs is one ambiguous sentence. One glance. One smile. One moment that can be interpreted in several different ways. And then the imagination takes over. But there is something beautiful about slowing down and asking ourselves, what is actually there? And what are we adding ourselves? That question becomes even more important when we talk about celebrities. Because behind every viral moment are real people. Zhang Linghe is a real person. Tian Xiwei is a real person. And while fans can enjoy their chemistry, discuss their performances, and celebrate their partnership, their private lives still belong to them. So perhaps we should appreciate the mystery, without turning the mystery into a fact. Maybe really was nothing more than a warm and professional answer. Maybe Zhang simply wanted fans to enjoy the drama. Maybe he was acknowledging the audience's support. Or maybe there was a subtle emotional tone that fans connected with for their own reasons. We simply cannot know more from those words alone. And yet, that does not make the moment meaningless. Because sometimes, a moment can be meaningful without being a confession. A sentence can make people smile without revealing a secret. And chemistry can feel real on screen without telling us what happens behind the camera. That is perhaps the most beautiful part of this entire experiment. We don't necessarily need an answer. We can simply ask the question. And maybe that is why fans keep returning to Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei. Not because every interaction proves something, but because every small moment gives them something to talk about. Something to feel. Something to remember. And now, let's return to those 4 simple words. As long as everyone is happy. Maybe that was exactly what Zhang Linghe meant. Maybe he was simply saying, if the fans are happy, then he is happy too. But perhaps the reason the sentence feels so powerful is because fans heard something beyond the literal meaning. They heard warmth. They heard acceptance. They heard a softness that made them wonder, could there be something more? And that question is where the experiment ends. Not with a conclusion. Not with a confession. But with a mystery. So now, I want to hear from you. When you hear Zhang Linghe say, what do you feel? Was it simply a safe, professional answer? Was it a warm acknowledgement of the fans? Or did the tone make you feel that there was something slightly more personal behind those words? And when you look at Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei together, are fans discovering a real pattern? Or are we sometimes creating the pattern ourselves because we love their chemistry so much? There may be no definite answer today. And perhaps that's exactly why we're still talking about it. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable stories begin with the smallest sentence. As long as everyone is happy. Maybe that is all Zhang Linghe wanted to say. Or maybe it is the sentence that made fans start asking an entirely different question. What if there was more hidden between the lines? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy these deep dives into Zhang Linghe, Tian Xiwei, their chemistry, and the moments that make fans stop and wonder, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because sometimes, the smallest details tell the biggest stories. And perhaps, this story is not finished yet.